I was standing at the edge of my own driveway when the deputy started reading the judge's order out loud, and I watched the HOA president's face change from confidence to panic in real time. A contractor was on his knees with a chisel, cracking fresh concrete off my gate post. Concrete they'd poured at 2 in the morning without my consent. And all I could think was this. 2 months ago, she told me I would 100% be forced to join her HOA. And now she couldn't even look me in the eye. My life was quiet on purpose. I bought this place because it was simple. One house, one gate. One long gravel driveway that touches a public road and ends at my front porch. No covenants, no dues, no board meetings, no HOA letters taped to my door. Just land, a lock, and some peace. Behind my tree line, though, sat a brand new subdivision with manicured lawns, matching mailboxes, and a fully armed homeowners association. They had rules for everything: paint colors, trash cans, parking. And at the top of that pyramid sat Tracy Harlow, polished blazer, practiced smile, the kind of woman who spoke like every sentence was already approved by a committee. I didn't know her at first. I didn't need to. My driveway wasn't hers. My gate wasn't hers. My land wasn't hers. That should have been the end of it. The first punch came in an email I wasn't even supposed to see. A neighbor from the subdivision forwarded it to me with a short message. "Thought you should look at this." The subject line read, "Emergency Access Update." Attached was a glossy PDF map with a bold red line labeled Secondary Evacuation Route. I stared at it for a long second before my stomach tightened, because that red line ran straight up my driveway and stopped right at my gate. Like my land was already theirs. Like it had always been part of their plan. I zoomed in, zoomed out, checked the file properties. Author: Tracy Harlow. Last modified just before midnight the night before. She didn't ask me. She didn't notify me. She just decided. I sent a calm email to the HOA management company. Professional, polite. I asked them to identify the recorded easement granting access through my driveway. And, if none existed, I asked them to stop distributing documents that depicted my property as a community route. Then I sent the board a certified letter with my title record attached, and one sentence that I chose carefully. I am not a member of your association, and you may not represent my property as common access. When the green return card came back signed, I felt a brief sense of relief. I thought, naively, that facts still mattered. 3 days later, Tracy escalated. I got a letter from the county fire prevention office saying there had been a complaint about obstructed emergency egress tied to my address. My hands shook a little when I read it. Not fear, confusion. I called the office immediately. Who filed the complaint? What document showed my driveway was approved egress? The administrator hesitated, said they didn't have the full packet yet, said an inspector would be scheduled. That's when something inside me shifted. Not anger, focus. I filed a public records request that same hour. Everything. Emails, attachments, maps, notes. I saved the confirmation timestamp. I started photographing my fence line, recording quick videos of my driveway. I documented a laminated "Emergency Exit, Do Not Block" sign, someone's zip, tied to my fence, and removed it with the boundary marker clearly in frame. I installed visible cameras aimed at my gate. Video only. No audio. Time stamped. Auto. Upload. I told myself I was being paranoid, but deep down, I knew I wasn't. Then came the night that changed everything. At 2:13 a.m. on a Tuesday. My phone buzzed with a motion alert. I opened the feed, and my stomach dropped. 2 pickup trucks, 4 workers in reflective vests, bags of quick, set concrete, a metal box the size of a lunch cooler, and standing just outside my gate, arms crossed like she owned the darkness itself, was Tracy Harlow. She wasn't holding a tool. She didn't have to. She just pointed. And a worker started drilling into the stone cap of my gate pillar. I stepped onto my porch and the floodlights snapped on. "Stop!" I yelled. "Private property!" The foreman barely looked up. Tracy turned toward me, calm, rehearsed. "Emergency compliance," she said. "You can't interfere." I asked the foreman who hired him. He glanced at Tracy. She answered for him. "By the association. You're functionally part of our community. We're formalizing your inclusion." I didn't debate philosophy at 2 in the morning. I told them to leave, or I'd call law enforcement. Tracy smiled like she'd been waiting for that. "Call them." So I did. I said the words out loud. Trespass in progress. Contractors drilling into my gatepost under direction of the HOA president. Live video available. While I stayed on the line. They leveled the metal box against my pillar and started pouring concrete around it. Tracy stood there with clean hands, watching. The deputy arrived 12 minutes later. Tracy launched into her speech about public safety and blocked exits. I handed the deputy my ID and my phone. Time-stamped footage. No easement, no permit. The deputy asked for a work order. The foreman produced a single page with "Install keyed access box" written across the top. Authorized by T. Harlow. No permit number. No county stamp. Just urgency circled in red ink. The deputy photographed it, told them to stop, and wrote an incident number on a card she handed to me. When they left, the box sat half set in wet concrete like a threat that hadn't finished drying. That was the moment I cracked. I stood there alone in the quiet after the trucks disappeared and the adrenaline wore off, staring at the damage. And for the first time I wondered if I was wrong. Maybe I was being selfish. Maybe I was the guy blocking an ambulance someday. Maybe everyone else saw something I didn't. I slept maybe an hour before dawn and woke up exhausted, angry, and unsure of myself. At 7:06 a.m., I emailed my attorney. I attached the incident number, the video clips, the photos, the work order screenshot. He responded fast. Preservation letter. Cease and desist. Delivery tracking. When Tracy emailed me the next day demanding I remove the lock and provide permanent access, calling it standard and always successful, I forwarded it to counsel and didn't reply. I saved the full headers anyway. She tried public pressure after that. A post went up announcing an official walkthrough, accusing me of refusing fire safety. A resident screenshot it and sent it to me. I clipped everything into a thin binder. I told myself something I still repeat now. Process is armor. Saturday morning, my driveway filled up. Tracy and her blazer, 2 board members, a handful of residents, the fire marshal, a deputy, the contractor foreman holding a new box like he still believed he had permission. Tracy smiled wider when she saw the uniforms. She made her announcement about compliance and community. I stepped forward and felt my voice steady in a way it hadn't all week. "Before we call anything community," I said, "I want one fact on the record." The fire marshal nodded. I handed him my title record and the incident number. I pointed to the concrete scar on my gatepost. Work began at 2:13 a.m. without my consent. No permit, no easement. If egress across my driveway is approved, show the recorded instrument. Tracy tried to talk over him. Developer plans, historic reliance, safety network. The fire marshal cut her off with one question that landed like a hammer. Who filed the complaint? She said she did. Did you disclose there was no recorded access right across this property? She hesitated. We assumed it would be resolved. Assumption is not approval, he said. That's when I slid the smoking gun out of my binder. The first batch of public records released that morning. On top was Tracy's own email to fire prevention. No easement yet, but we will install a keyed access box to achieve compliance. The fire marshal read it, looked up at her, and everything changed. You knew, he said. He turned to the contractor. Permit number? None. Then you don't touch it. He filmed the damage for the record. Unpermitted work on private property stops immediately. Remove the installation and restore the structure. Future action requires owner consent and proper permitting. Tracy tried to reclaim the moment, talking about residents, about safety. The fire marshal didn't raise his voice. You address your residents, he said, without rewriting someone else's deed. That afternoon, my attorney filed for a temporary restraining order. We attached everything. 48 hours later, the judge granted it. The HOA and its agents were ordered to stop all access attempts and stop representing my driveway as a community route. On Monday, the contractor returned with a deputy present and a county inspector filming. They chipped out the concrete, removed the box, and patched the stone. Tracy watched from across the public road as her permanent solution got erased on camera. The HOA issued a correction. New maps without my property. A retraction. A settlement that covered repairs, cameras, and legal fees. The board removed Tracy as president and barred her from serving again for a term. Quiet consequences. The kind that last. When it was over, I stood at my gate, keyed in my code, and listened to the lock click. The boundary held. And the lesson was simple. Confidence doesn't beat consent. Process does.